Can we do a little current season Love is Blind recap? If you have not abandoned your entire life for the last 2 days to watch the whole season of Love is Blind or what is out so far, you might not want to watch this. Come back after, because there's gonna be spoilers. I'll tell you the biggest spoiler so far this season: boring, super boring. However, it is great for someone like myself that is really into the psychology of it all, because I'm not really particularly paying attention for drama. I'm just really picking up on the psychological nightmares that are happening in this season. Kevin, God, I did not like him from minute one. And I hope that I get names right, because honestly, I was not so much paying attention to people as individuals or couples, and that makes me not remember their names. I just remember basically what was wrong with them. But when they went on the honeymoon, I was all of a sudden like, some of the couples I was looking at going, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't even remember you from the pods. But anyway, let's talk about Kevin for a second. He irritated me from the moment he stepped on screen. I did not like him. And my impression of him was that he has never previously in his life been in a situation where he had more than one woman to choose from, and he was loving it.
I never expected myself to be, love triangle.
And it was annoying the shit out of me. The first time, I think her name is Tyler, the first time she left, I was like, yes, girl, what you are picking up on is accurate. Get out of there. Because I know that they're in a situation where it makes sense, they're dating multiple people, but when it comes down to two and you just like two of them so much that you can't choose, you know what? It's neither of them. That is actually the choice. If it's come down to two that way, and we've seen it play out like this a million times, I can't think of a time where any of them, man or woman, was trying to choose between two and was struggling and was stringing the both of them along and then made a decision and it worked out. What was, oh gosh, and I'm not going to be able to remember their names. I can picture them, and she, I think, had a really strange name. He was a complete weirdo. I was like, where did they get this? I would have guessed like this guy had bodies in his basement. I think he was a lawyer, but I don't think he was practicing, and he was really weird. He was so weird. And he chose someone else. They didn't even make it through Mexico trip, I believe. And then he ended up with the one that he didn't choose, and they're married with kids now. Weird. And I'm not sure, like, I never ever felt like their love was genuine. Even now, like married with children and everything, they don't come off as genuine. They both come off as really, really weird and unauthentic to me. But anyway, going back to current season, first time Tyler left, I was like, yes, you have clocked it. You are correct. Run away from this man-child. And when she came back, I was so disappointed. However, I get it. I'm not judging her. She second-guessed herself, and she ended up being right. Just watching him kind of, and I know it was quiet. It's not like he was boisterous about loving these two women, competing for him. I mean, they weren't against each other. They actually were quite friendly, and I never heard them say anything but great things about each other. But it does create a sense of competition, right? So he felt like he was riding that train and loving that train, and he was not ready to get off of it.
And I truly don't want to mess that up.
Even when he told Tyler, like, I choose you, I really don't believe that he truly felt that. I think that he sensed that she was going to walk away and he wanted to keep riding that out for as long as he could because it was very validating for him, which you see it blew up in his face because she ended up leaving again and didn't even show up for their date. And then he tried to double back and then tried to choose Kia, and thank goodness Kia has confidence and a good head on her shoulders, and she was able to nail it perfectly when she said to him, "You're not ready for a relationship." I'm like, I'm so glad that you recognize that. My goodness, a 31-year-old man child, an infant in a man's body. Like, ugh, it was so gross. So kudos to those women for, I think they dodged a bullet. Neither one of them would have been happy. And I don't mean that from like an appearance standpoint or anything like that. Like if they had have met him, but I think it would have been apparent very quickly that he was not on their level as far as maturity goes and emotional availability and just their confidence level. It would be very, very hard. It is very, very hard for insecure men, which he definitely was, to be with confident women. And I loved when Kia said, like, no, I'm choosing me. And I always say that you always choose yourself. And I don't say that in like an anti-relationship way. You can be in a relationship and you can be very present and very thoughtful and an amazing partner, but you should always be centered. Always be centered in your life, because when we start to lose ourselves in relationships, even in parenthood, it doesn't work out well for anyone. You have to remain centered at all times. And I hear it all the time, you know, where self-centered comes from, being centered. No, it's not the same thing. They mean two very different things. Being centered and being self-centered are very different. Being centered doesn't mean you never put your partner's needs ahead of yours, or you never put their wants ahead of yours, but you don't do it to your detriment. That is the difference. You always remain true to yourself. You don't self-abandon. That is being centered. You choose yourself. And that's exactly what she did. And I was just so proud and so happy in that moment.
I chose me, bitches.
So it'll be interesting when people get yapping or when they bring the whole group back together. I'll be interested to see what people maybe have to say about that. But anyway, who else really irritated me? Connor, from like minute one. Was he the one that kept saying, he was saying like the same thing to every woman that he went on the initial dates with? He kept saying like the same thing, and I was like, ooh, I don't like you.
I literally like put 3 stars. I just put 2 more stars.
Ew. Did you practice? Like, it seemed like he had kind of developed a strategy.
You have like the most stars so far. So let's get married. I put so many fucking stars on here.
He had thought up this strategy, and that's what he was just doing like over and over again.
Like, I've already put a star. You have like 3 stars already. But I'm like, hey, well, me and Emma are married, so what are you doing for the rest of your life?
He icked me out right away. And I see their relationship crumbling already. So he ended up choosing Bree. It was Emma, I think Emma, that really liked him. So it was Emma that I think she had him as her number one. And then he chose Bree. And you can see it's already crumbling. And it was quite apparent to me from minute one that Connor's self-esteem was so low. Not a very confident guy whatsoever. I think that Bree very much carried that relationship in the pods, and he likely enjoyed the lack of pressure. He didn't have to carry things. He didn't have to be the one that was really leading the conversation and driving the relationship forward. That's my opinion of why he chose her. It felt like less work for him. It was the easier choice. And I'm not saying like that he chose poorly. I think that Bree is a really strong woman. I don't know if in the pods she really felt that strongly about him. It's become very apparent in the Mexico trip that she's not really that crazy about him. I think when they met, I think she was a bit disappointed. Yeah, so I guess the other one that she had some connection with in the pods was Chris. I don't even remember Chris from the pods. So him and I don't even know what her name is, that they ended up together. They were one of the couples that when they got to Mexico, I was like, who are these people? Where did these people come from? So I think that she saw Chris, was interested in him, and she was going on and on about how she was disappointed that people didn't, have these big heartfelt conversations when all the couples met up. And how are we feeling about the one couple not getting to go to Mexico? I know they allowed an extra couple in, and I think that they did that because they actually felt like Christine and Vic were probably the most sure thing. Apparently they had no love triangle happening in the pods, and that was why they were the couple that was chosen to stay in where did they go? Malibu or something. So they stayed in the US. They couldn't afford to send one more couple and one more production and camera crew or whatever to Mexico. They booked the whole resort. So I can't imagine that there wasn't room. So what would there have been? An extra 10 people? Like, this show is massive. So I thought that was really weird. I don't like Vic, and I know this sounds super one-sided. There are seasons where I have a lot to say about a lot of the women, and I think as things unfold, I'll get there. With that, I will have more to say about the women. So I know that this is sounding really one-sided, like I'm picking on all the men, but there's something about Vic. If it comes to light that he is a narcissist, I will not at all be surprised. I will be disappointed, but for me, I'm seeing the signs. I'd like to see more of them. I was disappointed that we didn't see a whole lot of them and that we didn't get the opportunity to see them interact with the other couples, him more specifically. And then what was the one? So Amber and Devo, I think he goes by, or something. I don't remember if it was like Devonte or something like that. But oh no, that was Jordan. Hang on, let me recap because Mama's getting them mixed up, okay? So hang on here. Because I think Devonta or Devo, I'm just gonna call him Devo. Frick, I can't remember what his name was. Sorry, dude, I don't remember your name. He was the one, and she's gorgeous. Brittany, and she was like, she is absolutely gorgeous, like body to die for, beautiful face, gorgeous hair, just, she's a knockout. And he was disappointed because he had never dated a woman of color before.
Did you have any idea? Did you think it was white?
I had no idea. I fell in love with Brittany. Just so happened that she is a woman of color. That's something I've never actually dated, let alone proposed to get engaged to. So that was something that kind of surprised me.
Being a man of color. And that's fine. That's the point of love is blind. So when they meet and then they're like, oh, they're not my physical type. And I understand it's important to be attracted to someone, but have you ever met someone, not thought they were attractive, and then got to know them and you were like, all of a sudden, like, she's looking real pretty or he's looking real handsome? When did that change? Did they do something? Did they get a haircut? Like, what is it? Right? Because you're falling for the person, you're falling for who they are, and you do start to see them through different eyes. And it can happen in reverse. Oh, I know I've met some men where I'm like, oh, he's good looking. And then I got to know them and I was like, how come they don't look good anymore? And there's times where I've fallen into limerence or a trauma bond. And I'm like looking at them going, when did they get so good looking? They didn't. They didn't. I was under a spell. But yeah, so I just thought, okay, you're used to dating white women. All right, I get it. But she's freaking gorgeous. And you fell in love with her in the pods. You've proposed to this woman. So I don't know. I thought that was really weird. And then he doesn't really want to admit to her that he's not particularly attracted to her, that he's used to dating white women. And instead, he just keeps pretending like he needs this alone time. And people do need alone time. There are introverted people. That situation would be challenging for me because I'm very introverted and I would be wanting to go off and have alone time just to recharge. Absolutely. Like, that is legitimate. In his case, there's definitely more to it. He's avoiding admitting something. And again, like, what is with these children in man bodies? Just tell the girl, I'm struggling a bit. Like, you're beautiful. You're not what I'm typically attracted to. You have to be honest. You've signed up for this. Work through it because you already fell for this person. And if it's just a physical, reality is she's not physically attracted to him.
He's shorter than I thought he would be.
He's not particularly physically attractive. He has some attractive attributes, but overall, he's not a particularly attractive guy, in my opinion. And she even said herself she didn't really find him attractive.
Definitely not somebody that I would probably have gone for out, like in the bar.
And so now we're seeing Alex, guy that I didn't really even know who he was until right before he proposed to Ashley, who is gorgeous.
Wasn't, physically gorgeous. It wouldn't have mattered to me as much, I don't think, anymore, based off the priority shifts that I've had personally.
And Alex is very good looking. He is a very classically handsome man. And his type is more of a Brittany type.
She's not the type I normally go for. I love dark features. But
he seems to be more attracted to the physique that she has.
I think if it's the rest of your life, you want somebody that you're physically attracted to. That she has the physical attributes that I find attractive. Tan skin, dark eyes, dark features, and obviously very fit bodies.
She's a little bit curvy in a very, not in like an excess weight kind of way, but just a naturally curvy body.
I'll admit, Ash is a different type of person than I would have gone after before.
Ashley has an amazing body as well. And I mean, she's beautiful, but she's the lighter skin, blonde, a little bit more of a thinner, less curvy physique.
Gauge whether the physical matches the emotional. I think it's important that you have a physical connection, and I'm still exploring that at the moment. If we're not there, I'll be very comfortable saying that. And I hope you're in the same spot, but I'd love to hear.
So there's proof there that you can be drop dead gorgeous and certain men will still not be attracted to you. So I've talked about it before on my podcast that just because you don't find someone attractive doesn't mean that no one finds them attractive. And just because there's someone that doesn't find you attractive doesn't mean that no one finds you attractive. How validating is that to have this gorgeous woman, like Ashley is beautiful, and this man is not particularly attracted to her. He can still look at her and know that she's beautiful. I mean, anybody can look at her and know she's beautiful, but that's not really his type. That's not who he is particularly attracted to. And so I found that interesting. And we know Brittany is more attracted to Alex, the tall, classically handsome look, which this Devonta, whatever his name was, is not, in my opinion. So who else? Oh, Emma. So I think Emma is really cute. I think she has a really cute personality. I thought at some points that she potentially had a bit of an avoidant side to her, and I'm not sure yet. I don't quite have her figured out. She behaved very differently with different people. So we'll see. And then I think the guy she ended up with, I think his name is Mike. I was shocked a bit that he did choose her because he's quite adamant about wanting children and she is unsure. If I'm choosing a life partner and I know that I want children, I am not choosing someone who is unsure whether or not they want children. That I thought was just a recipe for that relationship not working out. So at this point, I'm not sure who I see making it to the altar. I mean, we've seen some scenes from ahead that we know a few people that do make it to the altar because we've seen them on the wedding day. But as far as who is going to actually end up together, right now, I don't have money on any. I don't have money on any of them. Amber, and she was the one that has a child, and then I gotta look him up. I want to say Jordan, but I'll look it up. Yeah, Jordan. So Jordan, 34 years old. He was coming off as emotionally mature to a point, as emotionally mature as they can kind of come off on the pods. I think having that wall between them lets a lot of these cast members, or whatever you want to call them, it lets their walls down, having that wall in between. And then we kind of see once they meet in real life and they're actually together, that wall starts to go up. But I don't see that working out because overall he doesn't come off as particularly mature to me. And she has a child. You are instantly more mature. I don't care if you have a kid at 18 or 38, it does something to you. Or, it should. Usually it does, especially for women having children. It makes a lot of men grow up too. There was another couple that I was like, yeah, don't know where you people came from. So I'm gonna try to find her. Kind of bothers me that online they've really photoshopped Emma's arm. Why is that bothering me? Okay, so the woman is Jessica, and they're kind of treating her like the older woman. I'm like, she's 39. Like, I feel like they're talking about her like she's like a 60-year-old woman. Who did she end up with? I don't remember her. I don't remember her from the pods. Okay, it's Chris. Okay, I gotta look up now how old Chris is. So that was the one couple that I was like, I don't know who you people are. Was Jessica and Chris. And I don't remember Chris and Bree. I don't remember seeing any of their dates. I was working, like I said, I abandoned my life to binge this season, the first 6 episodes or whatever it was. So I was kind of doing other things at some point. So I guess I missed Chris and Jessica's love story during that. But he's 33, she's 39. So it's not catastrophic. I do think though, like, what have the Gen X's raised? Like the late baby boomers, early Gen X's. Because I mean, I'm a Gen X, but like I have teenagers. But there's earlier Gen X's that obviously raised like some of these early 30s men that I think are behaving like teenage boys. And then so I wanted to talk too a little bit about Southern Charm. So if you don't watch Southern Charm, maybe you want to tune out at this point, but it just amazes me. The men on there, they're behaving like 20-year-olds, like men in their 20s, and they're in like their late 30s. I think Shep's like the same age as me. Maybe I'm thinking he's older than he is. But I'm like, what's going on over there in Charleston? What is going on? What's in the water that these men can't grow up? And then the women are in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're so lovely. Well, some of them, not all of them. But what is this what they have to choose from? These 40-year-old man-childs? Man-childs? Whatever. Charleston, what's going on? Why are your men babies? Southern Charm. I want to know. Because I remember when Shep was more so like in his prime and he was quite handsome and the ladies were, he had his pick. Now I'm like, ew, you're just like a dirty old man who's still trying to date 25-year-olds. Like, grow the fuck up. And the reason I really wanted to talk about Southern Charm today was the shock and awe of the last episode, listening to him try to give relationship advice and like talking shit about Austin and his relationship, which I'm like, listen, I could talk about Austin and his shortcomings all day long. But for Shep to be talking shit, dude, you are not anyone to ever be giving freaking relationship advice. Holy crap, man. How old is this guy? Yeah, can I call it or can I call it? I had actually no idea how old Shep is, and we are the same age. I have teenagers, and I did not have children young. I had my kids in my 30s. Yeah, we're the same age. Holy crap. Dude's not even a millennial, okay? Get your shit together, man. And I just, this show, and it's like a train wreck. I can't look away. When I watch it, I'm like, why am I watching this? Because the men on it are very feminine. They're very, very feminine. They're all just so messed up. Like Craig, a Paige girl, you dodged a bullet. I know people have their own opinions of Paige and think that she's toxic or whatever. She's immature. She's very centered. She is very focused on her own career right now. Craig didn't like that. He wanted to settle down. He was ready to start a family. I think he's just tired of the rat race, really. And I think that she felt this, that he didn't at that point really care who he was marrying. She's attractive, they got along, and you know, his words not mine. They had a good sex life and whatever. So he was like, hey, good enough. Well, I'll settle down with this one. But he never quite had her, and he always knew that. I think in his, deep down, he knew that he didn't really fully have her, and that's why he didn't propose, because he knew that she was going to say no. Otherwise, I think that they would have been married. And I know when they broke up, he said, like, I wish you would have seen the ring first or whatever. And she was like, if you had a ring, like, you would have given it to me. And I think that she's right about that. But I don't think that he didn't propose because he didn't want to. I think that he didn't propose because he was scared that she was going to say no, and that she would not only say no, but she would break up with him. So he always knew that he didn't fully have her. And I think he has these young ones, like he could have Sally, but he also doesn't want to pick me, and she's such a pick me. Sorry, Sally, like, you are a classic. If you, like, they need to snap your picture and put it right next to pick me in the dictionary. Like if your middle name, like you are Sally Pickmisha, whatever your last name is, I don't know. But you're cute, your personality could use a little work. But I think that's just insecurity. She just needs to work on herself because she's not unattractive. But yeah, oh, she's got that pick-me energy that even Craig isn't interested in. And that one that he is dating, Charlie, ugh, I'm like, girl, no, go find a real man. She's so cute. I really like her. So I hope that she is able to detect his dysfunction sooner rather than later, because he is extremely dysfunctional. They all are. I even look at like JT and like his dysfunction. He's not even on this season, and good riddance. Like I never liked him, but even his dysfunction, I'm like, where do you get off like playing all of these? Not that I think anybody should. I shouldn't even say that, because it's like it's okay if good looking guys do it, but when these little weasels do it, it's like we really give them a hard time. I just like Vienna, she is so naive or something. I don't know. Even watching her try to be friends with Sally so desperately like makes me feel sad for her. She has that energy like Venus gets walked all over, and it makes me sad because I think as much as she's not, I think for a lot of people, a really particularly interesting character on the show, I think she has a really good heart. Like she seems like genuinely she is a good person, and sadly sometimes they aren't the ones that are the most interesting on these shows where we're looking for drama and it's kind of the evil characters. Like look at what's her frickin' face? Ugh, what is wrong with me? Old age. What's her fucking Madison? What is interesting about her? Other than she's a villain. That's the word that I was looking for. She's like all up in everybody's biz. She's like the new Patricia, like Whitney's mom, just because like Madison, does she even have like her own storyline, or she's just like involved in everyone else's storylines? Sometimes I wish we saw more of Whitney. You want to talk about a man-child. Whitney is such a man-child. He's weird too. I remember when, what was her name? One that was an ex of Craig's. I think I called her Vienna and her name's Vanita. Did I call her Vanita? Poor girl, can't even remember her name. Vanita. Ugh, she's so cute too. Naomi, she was with Craig. Yeah, and then she had that little fling with Whitney that she was like, who was keeping it a secret? Was it her that was keeping it a secret, or was it Whitney that was trying to keep it a secret? I'm not too sure. If I was Naomi, I'd have been trying to keep it a secret for sure. Unless you were getting some of that Patricia money. I wouldn't mind me some Patricia type money. But yeah, and no Catherine this season. I find her such an interesting character. I felt so sad watching that. Thomas, narcissist, classic narcissist. What happened there was insane. I don't know how everyone just stood by and watched that. Anyone that was siding with him, that was just absolutely freaking wild to me. Is anybody else interesting? So no Taylor this season. I don't know what happened there. Leva, we haven't seen much of Leva. Boring. She's boring to me. I know she's got the spin-off show. I think I watched like 2 episodes. I couldn't get into it. I have some friends that watched it. I don't even know if it's still on, actually. I liked Olivia. Again, like what it's like, these men, they have these options of these amazing women, and they just fumble. Like Austin, even himself saying, like, I know even friends of mine that would love to be with a woman like Audrey, yet he's just fumbling her. Like, what is wrong with these men? They have these amazing women and they're just knowingly, like, they know they're fumbling them and they're that messed up. These guys, they do want relationships, but I don't know, like, I don't know what happens to them. I don't know what's in the water over there in Charleston. It's actually been a pretty boring season. So the season is so boring that they're literally giving airtime to Shep giving relationship advice. That was really my whole thing with talking about Southern Charm, because it's been boring. But I do think that as boring as Love is Blind has been up to this point, I think that the season is going to start getting interesting when they get back, when they get home and they are living in their little apartments and they start meeting friends and family and all that. It's going to get interesting. So if, and I hate that they space out, like, just drop the whole damn season. What's the difference? Why do you make us wait? We're gonna watch it regardless. So I don't know why they don't just drop the whole season all at once. That reminds me too of Bridgerton. What? So you drop like 4 episodes or whatever and it's another month before you're dropping more episodes? That really pissed me off. I'm like, I wouldn't even have watched this if I knew that you weren't dropping more episodes for a month. But we'll see what happens next Wednesday. If it's interesting enough and people want, we'll come back and have a little chit chat about the drama that's happening once they get home. And until then, happy Valentine's Day. You can see I've got the kids stuff ready for Valentine's Day. Even if you don't have a Valentine, like a romantic relationship Valentine, if you're in a romantic relationship and you're celebrating your love today, that's beautiful. But just remember that Valentine's Day is not just for couples. Valentine's Day is to celebrate love. Celebrate all the people in your life that you love, and most importantly, you. Love yourself. If you have no one else to celebrate today, celebrate loving yourself. Happy Valentine's Day.